Great. Come up and take your seats, folks. We're getting ready to get started. I'm so glad to see a few people out today. I was a little worried that with the Valley-wide yard sale, we might get less attendance than usual. And I'm also worried because my husband Ted is out there unsupervised. So we'll see what I come home to. Welcome to the Dixie Fire Collaborative Community Meeting. My name is Maria Stout. I'm secretary of the Dixie Fire Collaborative Steering Committee. And the reason you see me up here instead of the indomitable Marsha Roby is because the Dixie Fire Steering Committee, in its collective wisdom, decided that each member of the steering committee needed to work on being more present and known to the community, and I was nominated to take first crack at emceeing the meeting. So please forgive any mistakes, and yeah, I'm glad to see you all. I'm glad it's a small crowd to witness my debut. Thank you. That's the better word than the fiasco I was thinking of. So let me just go over our recovery group. We are a collaboration of nonprofit, faith-based, local, state, or national organizations that work together to share information and resources that can help address the needs of individuals and families affected by the Dixie wildfire. Our stated mission is to fulfill the unmet needs of survivors and helping to rebuild the communities of Greenville, Indian Falls, Canyon Dam, and Warner Valley. All programs shall support this mission and purpose, and all who work for or on behalf of the DFC shall understand and adhere to that purpose. I want to add that here we are coming up on 2 years in. A lot of us are tired. A lot of us are frustrated. A lot of us have been putting in enormous hours of work, volunteer, unpaid work. And I want to remind that this is a place of safety where we come to communicate clearly and factually with each other. And I'd like us to remember that compassion in how we approach one another is paramount for clear communication. I want to assure you that no matter what you've heard, every single member of the steering community of the Dixie Fire Collaborative Steering Committee is 100% committed to doing the best we possibly can. Will that mean we make mistakes? Absolutely. We're human, just like you. But we ask that you give us the benefit of the doubt that what we are doing is always with the best of the community in mind. And I ask you, if you hear something that bothers you, don't spread it. Come and talk to us. 99% of the time, it's a false rumor, or even if there's some grain of truth, there's a backstory that you don't understand or haven't heard. So please reach out to us, all our phone numbers, all our emails. You can personally call me. I'll even pick up at 9 o'clock at night. I want to hear from this community, but I ask that you treat me with compassion. Thank you. So our first speaker is Paula Johnston for the Nature Made Kids Camp. Oops, sorry. Nancy Presser. Welcome, Nancy.
X. I love the X. Okay. It's a red X. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming out today. My name is Nancy Presser. I work with Paula Johnston, and I'm announcing the beginning of Nature Made Camp, which is a kids camp that was designed by one of our new employees, Dan Litchfield. It's at his property called Wild Plumas down on Wolf Creek Road. We're hosting a free fun day for kids ages 5 to 18. Once a month. It'll be the third Saturday of the month, so it coordinates with these meetings if you need childcare. The kids get a snack, they get access to outside activities galore, the creek, a rock wall. I don't think we're axe for throwing, but we are doing gold and other natural activities for nature, and they're also doing like survival and first aid as well, so they get a little skill building. We're out there today. You're welcome to stop by if you want to check it out. We'd love to have people come and see it. We'd love the community to share that this is available from this month, May through October. So it's not a one-trick pony. We're going to have this for several months each month. And the registration, you can register the children online at PlumasRuralServices.com, our website, or you can just show up that morning at 10 a.m. and register in person. There's more. As you can see, this is our disaster case management group here, and we recently received an award for Celebration of Heroes, a Team of War award for our tireless work and dedication to the recovery of fire survivors. But also it's honoring that we work with all types of individuals, people with disabilities, people with mental incapacities that are, hard to read, people who can't read and write. So it's just something, an award that just acknowledges that our team works with so many different people in the population and types. So we were really excited to be able to be honored with that award. I don't get to leave the X. Okay. So the disaster case management program, we have myself, and in the back we have myself, Catherine Cruz, Rob, I don't know your last name, but he's awesome, Joe Carter, and Kevin Naylor. Rob, is your name up there so I don't feel so stupid? No. Everybody else wasn't able to make it today, but here's some of the things that we have planned for people in the community. We're having a permitting workshop. April is the wrong date, but it's in June. Thank you, Kevin. June 28th, we'll have our second permitting workshop. And this is going to be similar. Tracy Ferguson, Chuck White, all from the county will be there to answer your questions about what's this permitting thing? How do I go about it? Who do I get to help me? Those kind of questions. If you're an owner rebuild, you may want to come because I hear that's the hardest thing to do, but it's great for you to be there so you understand the permitting process. We also have trauma education and support. Plumas Rural Services offers 2 amazing counselors, one for mindfulness tools and one actually with trauma education. So again, if you're still, everybody's recovery from this fire is individual, so it's okay to ask for help. These ladies are here for you to support you and help you just come back to who you were. I know I've been saying a lot, I wasn't me, I didn't feel like me. So if you want to get a little me back, I highly recommend talk to your disaster case manager, or if you don't have one, you can talk to me. We'll get you set up. You do not need a disaster case manager to take advantage of these counseling services. Did I say everything on that slide? You're welcome to enroll in disaster case management services. You don't have to, it's a voluntary program, but we're here to support you and help you find resources, we'll give you referrals, we'll help you with how to receive a settlement, insurance payouts, lawsuits. So, we're just here to be a support person for you if things are getting overwhelmed. And if you have questions or hear rumors, ask us. A lot of times we know what the answers are. And I like what Maria said. If you hear rumors, take it to us about what's available, what's not available. Take it to us. We'll try to find out where the rumor came from and get the answers for you. Okay, now you can switch. And here are our numbers for this month, I hope. So this is actually from March, served in March. So these numbers aren't really accurate, so I'm gonna ask you to pass. That's all you got, okay. Am I up here one more time? Okay, it's not, I'm not up here one more time, but I am going to introduce Baptiste Simon. And he, if you want to come up, he is here from France. He's interviewing any survivors that are interested, and he's fabulous. He's working on his PhD, so I'll pass over the X.
Oh. Good morning, everyone. I didn't expect to talk in a microphone like that in front of so much people. So thank you, Nancy, for that. So yeah, I'm a PhD student. I've been here for a week. I've seen some people here. I'm talking to Dixie Fire survivors and community members about their experience and how the communities we're building. So these are anonymous interviews and it takes about an hour. So yeah, if you're interested in talking to me like that and to about your experience, I'm here. Like my English is not perfect, but I kind of understand everything you can say. So yeah, thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for everyone that's welcoming me in the community. Everyone has been so helpful and nice to me. So yeah, and thank you to the PRS for introducing me today. So, thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to welcome Sherry from the Dixie Fire Steering Committee. She's our treasurer, and we'll give the treasurer's report.
Thank you and good morning. Here we go. Our deposits have not changed, so we still started out with $3,001,500 in our account fund. Thank you. These are some of our old expenditures that we've had on the list for a long time. The first one at the top is the North Valley Community Foundation fees, and I'm going to be explaining that whole piece to you after I give my report this morning. So that's clear what those fees went to and how they were used by North Valley Community Foundation and what we received as a result of the $60,000. Next one, please. Our latest additions at the bottom down here are the tool bank insurance. We are paying for the insurance for the trailer, all the tools within it, and covering that. The Dixie Fire Collaborative Steering Committee approved that. We now have a Zoom account and we have more audio equipment to bring you a better presentation of the meeting. We had a workshop with Goodwill Consulting, and the purpose of that workshop was to get the steering committee together, look at where we're going within the next 3 years, start to do some strategic planning for the future. And she came and consulted with us and facilitated that workshop. Then we have paid the communications technician to set up all the equipment and run our community meetings for March and April. Next slide, please. So our total expenditures are the 379 plus. Our current balance is $2,622,406.93. Next one, please. Thank you. We have committed this funding approved by the steering committee for the cleanup of the historical buildings. The Indian Falls water system phases 1 and 2. Our communication technician for 6 months trial, which was reduced for the amount that we paid him. And then we are going to commit the $39,600 to the outdoor youth program. So our total commitments now are $241,110. That our total expenditures and commitments are $620,203.07. When we divide that by our total deposits, we're still at 21% committed or spent funds for our account. And we still have available now with those commitments and expenditures, $2,383,915.32. And I wanted to explain about the $60,000 fee from North Valley Community Foundation. And that is, they are a nonprofit, which is called a 501c3. They're our fiscal agent. They're holding our money from the PG settlement. They provide the experience from the campfire because they did this for the Campfire Collective. in Paradise. They hold their own fund of donations given toward the Dixie Fire and have contributed to funding grants in the Dixie Burns Fire from their own company organization funds, sorry. We entered into the agreement with North Valley Community Foundation on February 17th, 2022. At that time, we were a charitable impact fund, which meant that there were a group of citizens that banded together to raise money to help people recover from the Dixie Fire at that time and put on fundraising events. North Valley Community Foundation's usual fee is 5%, which would have been $150,000 that they would have taken in a fee from our account. But among themselves at their organization, they decided they would only charge us 2%. And that's the $60,000 on the original $3 million from PG&E. And what that does for them is they put that into their general fund for their operating costs. And what they do not keep track of what they do for us. They do not charge our account. They just do the work and do the services for us when we ask them to, and when they take care of the things that they said that they would do for us. Next slide, please. These are the things that they have done for us in the last year and 4 months. They do all the accounting, they do the audits, they do the tax returns, they make sure that they are within the terms of the IRS and DA Hollister's settlement terms of how we use the money from PG&E. They cover our insurance. They do the required filings with the state agencies. When we call, they give us legal advice and create the contracts that may go with that. They created and wrote the operating procedures for the DFC. We're not a 501c3, so we don't have bylaws. We have operating procedures, and they helped us write those. They wrote the Dixie Fire Grant Program guidelines. Next, please. They wrote the conflict of interest form for the steering committee, the confidentiality form for the steering committee, and the membership form for those people who chose to become members so that they could participate in our election in the fall. They run the funders roundtable. They vet all the proposals from the applicants. They conduct the roundtable meeting. They receive all those contributions from the funders. Then they transfer the funds to the nonprofit that's administering that grant. They provide a program officer to conduct a simple unmet needs roundtable, which is a separate roundtable. They pay the invoices and vouchers for goods and services. I have a portal that I go on the computer, and I make a request for payment, and I include all the necessary documentation. But North Valley Community Foundation cuts the check and pays the bills. I never touch any money. They do it all for us. Let's see. And then they have the oversight of our account, making sure that the money is widely spent. And this is all done because North Valley Community Foundation has all the staff to do all these things for us and provide all these services. And if we were not under their umbrella, we would have to apply to become a nonprofit, and we would have to hire, retain, contract with, or pay for an accountant, an auditor, a lawyer, a tax preparer, and an employee to vet and administer the grants. So I think the majority of the steering committee feels that the $60,000 fee was money well spent for all the services that North Valley Community Foundation provided us. Okay, and is that the last one? Yay! Thank you.
Thank you, Sherry. Welcome up Marsha Roby to give us an update on the post office.
All right. So you probably noticed yesterday that they were pouring the foundation for the post office. Yay, I know. So this is what they think it's going to look like. Sue said that there will be 2 less windows, but I like it. The other post office was kind of 60s. This looks like maybe goes better with our town, I think. So that is going to be happening soon. I talked to John Banks from the American Legion, and he said that they received their settlement from PG&E, and it was more than enough to go ahead and build a new American Legion building. Yay. So they're in line waiting for dirt because you can't just put, there's a big hole there. You can't just put any dirt on there. It has to be special compactable dirt. They have put in for it and they're waiting for that. And then what they hope to do is to find a contractor that's a veteran that will understand that what they're doing for the community. And then they can say it is a veteran built and a veteran owned building. He just liked the sound of that. In the meantime, they're hoping to get one of those Connex boxes with doors and windows in it. And it will be an office for the time being, and they can hold meetings in there for the veterans. So that sounds great to me. And then I also wanted to know how they were doing at the building department with permits in Greenville and Indian Valley. And so I called Chuck White this week and said, can you give me a numbers? Because I mean, just seeing the foundations go in. So mine's going in on Monday. And then, and there's, the Halversons are rebuilding and, I just talked to him. Yeah. And he's got his foundation across the street from me. So, yeah. And so Chuck said, I'm really, really busy. I'll try to get that information for you, but if I don't take it first. So he didn't get back to me. So anyway, all right. So thank you.
Thank you, Martha. That's exciting news. Next up, the Department of Toxic Substances Control, and I'll allow you to introduce yourselves.
Good morning. I am here with the Department of Toxic Substances Control. We are here for the site mitigation and restoration program. And today, John, the Department of Toxic Substances Control, will provide an update on the program.
Thanks, Jessica. As she said, I'm John. Sitting over here is Kimmy. A lot of you may recognize her. Last year, she was here in the field trying to let people know what's going on. Can you go back to the previous slide real quick? I just want to provide some context. So Kimmy and I work in the site mitigation and restoration program, and we're doing this time critical removal action in Greenville. Now, that's not normally what we call it when we're out in Greenville. We call it the lead contaminated soil cleanup. So that's what we're out here doing. So next slide, please. Thank you. So just to talk about the 2023 schedule, the first part of it. So we had a deadline for May 15th, which it's past May 15th now, but we had a deadline for people to submit access agreements in case they already hadn't submitted an access agreement. Talking about what our upcoming schedule is. So starting next week, you'll start seeing construction vehicles, trucks, people coming up, but we won't actually start the construction work of removing lead contaminated soil until that last week of May, first week of June. And the intent is for us to finish by February. And this mic keeps cutting out from time to time, so sorry about that. I could just talk like this, but I don't want you to feel like I'm yelling at you, so. Could you go back one slide? I didn't finish there, so we immediately, what we're gonna do is there's approximately 35 properties we have to backfill. And then the bulk of the rest of the activity will be excavation of 47 other properties of lead soil and backfill properties as well. Next slide. So some of the risks to the schedule, while we don't have as much work as we thought we were going to do, there's always, you put together a schedule and then the first day you start, that schedule flies out the window. So we've been doing a lot of coordination with PG&E, with Indian Valley, with Frontier, with Caltrans. We're going to make sure that everyone out here doing rebuilding work, that none of us are trying to step on each other's toes. But at the same time, we can all get to work and do the work efficiently so that we get it done as quickly as possible. But there's good, you've already seen it. I've seen it in town the past couple of days. There's construction and road closures, there's work already being done now. And we're just trying to make sure all of us can do our work safely, keep everyone in the community safe, and make sure we don't run into each other. Next slide, please. That's the gist of the presentation, just some short and sweet information. This is some general contact information if you want to contact DTSC, if you have any comments or you have any questions. It's a general email account, but at the bottom, there's also, we have on our DTSC website, there is a Greenville page that will tell you what we've done so far and what we plan on doing. Next slide, please. So while there are 2 people listed on here as contacts for the Greenville project, I recommend if you want to reach one of them, talk to Jessica. So you can either email her or call her at that number. She's one of our public participation specialists. So if you have any questions about what's happening, coordination, things like that, she's going to be able to provide a lot of valuable information. Next slide, please. Now, if you do have technical questions, while we recommend that you talk to Jessica because she can always filter any questions of yours to us, this is contact information for Kitty and myself in case you feel you need to reach us directly, just to find out what's going on or whatever. So give us a call, send us an email. We'd be happy to answer. So.
Thank you so much. We appreciate all the work you and your team are doing. Now I'd like to welcome up Pest to do the presentation for the spot and the Chamber of Commerce updates.
Thank you. So this was supposed to be Cassie this morning, but she's out of town. So things that are happening at the spot, as you see, the spot is empty where the Region Burger was and the carport right behind that. Because of issues with how that trailer was provided, the Region Burger trailer was provided, the organization that was providing it has to also serve Trinity and Lassen counties. So they had to come in and take the trailer so that they could fulfill their obligation to serve those counties, and left us with a hole there. Mary, on the other hand, owns her trailer, but it was damaged this winter. So if you go down Hot Springs Road, you'll see her trailer sitting there where she's working on it. She'll be back, and as I understand it, Christy will be back. They're working as hard as they can to put things together so that they can come back and be in the spot. There apparently is also another new food trailer coming in. I don't have an exact date for that. So just know that we're as frustrated as you are after putting all the work in to create the spot to not have those businesses there. However, the Way Baby is open 4 days a week now. They've been consistent about that, and they've opened up for special events, and that looks like it's going pretty well. So we're excited and pleased to have them. That's the latest that I have for you on the spot, other than to say, if you know anybody that's interested in opening a business, whether it's a food trailer or a hair salon or whatever it might be, those things that we no longer have in Greenville, please get in touch with me or Cassie Barr or Kara King, and let that person know that we would like to help them open those businesses, because we want to have at least temporary businesses in place so that it makes it easier for people who want to rebuild to have services right here. So talk to your friends if somebody's interested in opening a business, or somebody that is even out of the area, and because things are more expensive in other places, they aren't able to open their own business. We might just welcome them here, and we have people set to, like the Innovation Hub, set to help them get those businesses open so that you and I and the rest of the community have those services. So we wanted to share that this morning. Let me take a quick look at my notes, see if there's anything else that I was supposed to cover. Oh, the thrift shop. It's the thrift shop and the tool bank. All of those things are in place at this point. So they will be opening as soon as they have their things together. I don't have exact dates either, but they're no longer waiting for the building to be moved or anybody to approve anything. All the approvals are done, and it's just a matter of getting the items in place so they can open the doors and run the businesses. So food trucks, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Kes. I'd now like to welcome up Joe Hoffman from the Plumas National Forest. You didn't know we were cousins. My maiden name's Hoffman.
Know that. Good morning, folks. Joe Hoffman, I'm the district ranger on Mount Huff Ranger District, Plumas National Forest, just the district office just west of Quincy there. Wanted to give an update, or for some people, it might be an introduction. We announced this project in April. Emily Mogadas was here with Sierra Institute. It's the North Fork Forest Recovery Project. So this is Fire Recovery Act. Well, it's a planning project that Sierra Institute is helping us with. So we'll be doing the NEPA planning, you know, all the environmental analysis, but the thrust at this point is to figure out what are the activities that are the priorities. And so the area is big. It's 168,000 acres, I think. It's basically, it's this polygon here. It's all just for Forest Service lands, not private lands, but it includes a lot of Forest Service land that is adjacent to private lands, as you see. So it starts basically down in the canyon. That's why we call it the North Fork, because all the drainage is drained to the North Fork of the Feather River. Starts down here and then, you know, includes basically all the communities that are within the Dixie Fire footprint. So it's the Forest Service land adjacent to those communities, and it'll be any activity that's necessary for recovery. And we want to focus on communities in particular. And that's where Sierra Institute's going to be really helpful, because they're from Taylorsville. They're good at community outreach, and you'll be hearing from them quite a bit. I'll show some dates here in a second. But yeah, the emphasis is on community. I mean, we typically in a forest, after it burns, you go in, you try to salvage as much logs as you can and try to replant as much. Well, here, there's so much to do, right? I mean, we're going to have to prioritize, and the priority is going to be the stuff near communities. So, I just want to point out one thing is that there's another project out in this area here that's kind of further away from communities. Well, it's more here. That's like the Red Clover and Little Grizzly drainages and Last Chance Creek. Plumas Corp is helping with that. Plumas Corporation out of Quincy, and you'll start seeing some outreach from them too for a community meeting to talk about activities. They've already got some plans, but open to adding different ideas, but it's mostly away from communities. Next slide, please. And so here's the dates that Sierra Institute has planned for the first community outreach events to try to gather up, you know, what activities should be in this planning effort. And they're up there. So there'll be a meeting June 21st. And yet this is probably the first that we've thrown these dates out. We'll be putting out a press release soon, or Sierra Institute will be. So June 21st is going to be at Taylorsville Hall, July 13th here at the elementary school, and July 19th also. And they're focusing on different community areas because there's a lot of communities that are impacted, obviously, by that fire. So we want to kind of focus the discussion at those meetings. You know, try to keep them, focused just for efficiency's sake. And I think the only other thing I got to add from the Forest Service side is that we were able to get the engine crew back into the Greenville Work Center. That was about 6 weeks ago, I think. They've been in there. There was a lot of repair. We had to do a lot of hazmat. There was a big hazmat cleanup, and that's why it took us a while to get in there. So they're still replacing floors and sprucing it up, and but they're there, and the work center is staffed now. And I think we've been successful. I mean, we are all the way through the HR process to get some more front desk visitor service support between the district office near Quincy and here. So hopefully we'll start having the office open to the public for a couple days a week, and that'll probably be later this summer by the time we get that staff person on board. But it'll be nice to have that office open again to the public. Thanks.
Thank you so much. That's great news. We'd like to welcome Jane Braxton Little to update us on the long-term recovery group survey.
So many of you have been here in the past for when Tracy Ferguson from Plumas County has been here. She is coordinating the county's long-term recovery plan. And this is something that is going to be on the ground projects. There are 27 of them, I think. the Board of Supervisors is scheduled to adopt this plan and approve it in early August, around the time of the Greenville anniversary. So we're now at the final stage of submitting information, submitting feedback on that plan. So in the back of the room, there are a bunch of these surveys. There's also a QR code, so you can go online and submit your comments online. And this it's a couple page survey. It will really help support the planning process, and also get your feedback into what projects you prefer and how you prefer them to go. So take a look at this. Many of you have been here before. We've been having meetings in Taylorsville and all over the place. So this is just, it's wrapping up, and get involved if you haven't been involved, and submit your final comments if you have already commented. Thanks.
Thank you, Jane. Yeah, it's really important for community members to be heard through that process. Next, I'd like to welcome Dan Aitken to educate us about yurts.
Nice picture.
Is that yours?
No. So last year I bought a yurt, and I connected with this company, Pacific Yurts in Oregon. They've been building them since 1978. They're a highly engineered product. And in a discussion with the local authorities in Quincy, the building department and health services, I discovered that we can use a yurt as a mobile home or a RV, which doesn't require a building permit, because an RV and all the products in the RV are under the auspices of the state of California. So if you use appropriate appliances, etc., you can build a yurt without a permit from the county. So the reason I'm saying all of this is because it could really quickly help you rebuild and build a temporary or permanent home. And the interiors of these yurts, if you go up to Pacific Yurts, and I don't represent Pacific Yurts or anybody else, and there are lots of yurt manufacturers, you might want to talk to them too. But these people were very, very good in their relationship with us. They were always available, had answers for every question. And the way they packaged their package is about as efficient as you could hope for. So I have some pictures in the back, some brochures that I can hand out. Anybody that's interested in these things after this meeting, I'd be glad to talk to you and show you how you can go through this process. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Thanks for keeping it tight. Food security, Layla Jean Levi.
Thank you. This started because during the fire, I watched people break into people's houses or get into people's houses and take food, siphon gas, all kinds of things. There is a food security plan that was received by the county, and they wrote the plan for Quincy. We were pretty much left out of it, which is fine because we're a pretty independent and individualized community. And I think that people want to do things their own way. So I went on Facebook and I started talking to people about what they were interested in. But I went ahead and wrote, so I used to write grants professionally, and I went ahead and took some of that background to construct something that somebody could then take forward to write a grant with. So this is a local food security survey for the citizens directly affected by the Dixie Fire who are living within the burn scar of Canyon Dam, Crescent Mills, Genesee, Greenville, Indian Falls, Indian Valley, Taylorsville, and all local burn scar communities, because so far there hasn't been anything for the burn scar communities, and that's been pretty tragic. Even if yours is the only place that burned in one of the above communities. At the end of the survey, feel free to succinctly tell us how you envision food security for the local Dixie Fire burn scar community. So that's the introduction. I took and copied and pasted that from the grant. Next, please.
So this is a little bit of definition. I worked with Clint on this because he did a lot of work for the USDA in this area and he has friends from this expertise. And so they helped me construct this. Millions of working families, veterans, people with disabilities, seniors, and children in rural communities cannot always afford and access enough food for an active, healthy life. Many rural areas are considered food deserts, areas with limited supplies of fresh, affordable foods. Some of the causes of food security include poverty, unemployment, low income, economic instability, financial insecurity, transportation barriers, limited access to affordable food, natural disasters, lack of affordable and sustainable housing, chronic health conditions, or lack of access to healthcare. So natural disasters, transportation barriers, there's a lot of things in this list that apply to this general community area. And even if it doesn't apply to you individually, I think supporting the community as large is probably in everybody's individual best interest. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is some of the questions. I took most of the questions. These are actually the questions. So when you take the survey, you'll know what you need to look for. Do you live in the burn scar? I think that's imperative because I think that we're the ones who definitely are affected by this. If your place was burned by the Dixie Fire, click all that qualify. How important is it for you to have a weekly local produce market? How important is it to you to have organic produce? How important is it to you to rotate the produce markets within the local different burn scar communities? How important is it that funding and donations for food security and the local burn scar hire from and assist citizens directly affected by the Dixie Fire who are living in the burn scar? Because a lot of the grant money is going to people, so far a bulk of the grant money is going to people outside of the burn scar community. And that's fine if that's what you want. This is a community decision. Our cold frames or cold box is something you would like to see offered to residents of the local burn scar communities. This is something that came from the community when I did an informal assessment. Next slide, please. Okay, this is an example of a cold box. It's basically just a raised bed, but it has a double hoop. This is a single hoop, but it has a double hoop. So I know for a fact that they last all winter because I've been doing it. Would you be interested in canning as a community in August and September with food from your garden or local produce? We can get excess produce from some of the hubs, which are basically growing communities around us. We don't have one here, but it's something I'd like to start. Would you be interested in an organic seed swap? Would you be interested in plant starter program for your summer garden? How far, this is important that you take your phone and you plug in the address of the places, the 2 places you buy from the most. Would you be interested, how far round trip, so then you can use your phone for that, are the 2 grocery stores that you shop at most often. Use the GPS on your phone, tablet, or computer. It's really important because that potentially could affect someone who is writing a grant, not I. Next. We want to know what those of you who live within the burn scar community want for food presentation classes to address any food security concerns. We want you to rate which classes you are most interested in first. Some classes will be offered via Zoom during the winter, and we will resume in-person classes in the spring. Which 3 classes would you personally want to attend? Again, those are all online. I'm not going to read them all, but please consider what you think you and the community would be most interested in. Next. And then these are the final questions, and it gets personal, so to speak. Are there any additional food preservation classes in which you would be interested? Are there any additional classes in which you would be interested in, like wine making, foraging, sprouting, mushroom growing, organic growing, cuttings, grafting, general cooking demonstrations, etc.? Please succinctly tell us how you envision food security for the local Dixie Fire burn scar community. Is there a skill that you would be willing to share with others, or lead a day of raised bed construction, or a class you would like to teach, or a leadership position that you would like to take in food security for our communities? Please share your ideas with us, include your name and contact information. Next. Here it is. This is the tiny URL. I'm going to be posting this on the Dixie Fire Collaborative Facebook page. I'm going to submit it. I don't post anything. And then hopefully they'll put it up. Again, it's for the burn scar communities. And that doesn't mean your place burned. If it does, that's going to weight your answers. But hopefully we can all work as a larger community so that next time we'll all be more protected. Thank you.
Thank you, Leila. We'd now like to invite Laura Wheeler from the Indian Valley Innovation Hub. Thanks, Laura.
Thank you, Maria. Okay, so my name is Laura Wheeler. I'm the Director of Indian Valley Innovation Hub, and I'd like to give you an update about the resources coming in to support our economic recovery. First, a little bit about Indian Valley Innovation Hub. Our current mission, and I say current because it's looking like we're going to expand our mission. We're doing a lot more than, we're headed in the direction of doing more than producing products for export. We're filling a lot of gaps for business owners that were impacted by the disaster that they're not ready to produce products for export, but we want to get them there. So our committee is under the Plumas Sierra County Fair Foundation, and let me go over who our committee members are. We have John Stefanik, and you may know John as the Plumas Sierra County Fair Manager. He facilitates workshop on marketing and event planning. IVIH was John's idea. He knew we needed to create a new economic base and produce products for export in order to regrow our economy. We have Kest Porter, and I think everyone knows Kest Porter here. He was the former principal of this school. Kest is committed to Indian Valley's Dixie Fire recovery. He spearheaded a lot of the establishment of the pop-up business district. He's very solution-oriented and a real go-getter in the disaster recovery, involved in a lot of groups, and he wants those groups to work together. Ted Stout, who is Maria's husband, he's very he's a former Fortune 500 company technology expert. He's a critical thinker, and he has lots of great outside the box ideas for solutions for business owners. We have Clint Cobley, and you may be familiar with him as well. He was strategic in founding the Dixie Fire Collaborative, and he's the former co-chair of the DFC, who is now on the steering committee. He's a business advisor for the Sierra Small Business Development Center and the former Nevada State Executive Director for the USDA. He's very familiar with agriculture industry and committed to helping business owners access resources that can help them grow and thrive. All of Innovation Hub's committee members advocate for business owners and act as project advisors for Innovation Hub's clients. Next slide. Next, I'd like to introduce Chico Start. I'm really excited because we've been in talks with this organization in Chico called Chico Start. They're the lead innovation hub for the North State, funded by the California Governor's Office on Business and Economic Development. We've been talking since last fall about how Innovation Hub could work with Chico Start to help the businesses here recover. We've been waiting for funding for a membership. Their memberships are pretty pricey because they have a lot of offerings for business owners. 2 weeks ago, they contacted me and they said, we want to give you a free membership. So, yeah. So what they are going to do for us is the new webpage that I don't know if it's out yet. It might be out today. We support and enrich Plumas County entrepreneurial ecosystem by providing entrepreneurs, startups, and small businesses the resources they need to start, grow, and thrive. Next slide, please. So here's just a few things that Chico Start does. They have a similar program in Paradise. After the burn in Paradise, they started up a program to help through a partnership with the Chamber of Commerce in Paradise. And this is what they're doing there. They're replicating this program in our area for all business owners in Plumas County, but we're putting it here at the fingertips of the people most deeply impacted by the disaster. You can see this at our website. There's a link to go on. I don't want to take up too much time, but they have a lot of offerings for our community. Next slide, please. Here's a little bit more about the resources Chico Start's going to offer. They offer mentoring. The website will show that the mentors that they will connect you with. A lot of them have been in Fortune Magazine, Entrepreneur Magazine, the Wall Street Journal. And these are free resources to get our economy back up and running. So we have an incredible amount of resources coming in the business community. They're an Amazon Web Services Activate provider. So I'm still learning about this, what that means, but what they're going to do is they're going to help us get up and started deploying products through Amazon. They have a virtual or on-demand virtual entrepreneurship toolkit series. So free classes for business owners that want to do things like business plans. If you can't come to one of our workshops or meet with Clint, you can just go online to their entrepreneurship toolkit series. They have the Open Grants portal where you can search for grants yourself to get your business support. And you can also hire a specialist that will seek out exactly the type of funding that you're looking for. They have Grow with Google free webinars. So anything that Google offers, they'll give you free trainings on that. And BCAC TV media resources for TV and web production. They have classes on how you can grow a media following. Next slide, please. Next, I want to talk a little about the Made in Plumas County program. You may have seen some advertisements online about this. This is a program sponsored by Indian Valley Innovation Hub. The program is going to promote products made locally. So anyone you see here that has a product selling around Indian Valley, we want to put that stamp on it. We want to put it on a truck. We want to bring it to fairs and festivals, special events outside Plumas County and around Plumas County. We're establishing a booth that we can put these products in, and we're offering a market service. So this year, we're offering a free membership to Made in Plumas County, and you can sign up at our website. Here's just a few of our program goals. Our goal is to increase consumer loyalty for the local products. If people see this stamp on products and they want to support Plumas County product makers, I think they're going to buy these products over going on Amazon to buy products. So we want to create a network of businesses that export products to areas outside Plumas County. Next slide, please. The benefits are for the product makers is increased consumer loyalty. Consumers will know where to purchase the products. We're establishing the distribution streams. a Made in Plumas County online catalog at our website with links to all of the business owners' pages. We will work with the local retail stores to have sections that have all of the Made in Plumas County products. Like I said, we're gonna have the booth at the farmers markets and special events and stores outside Plumas County. Next, we have the CARES Act funding workshop coming up, and this is coming up fast. It's gonna come up on Thursday, May 25th from 6 to 7 p.m. Clint is gonna be the facilitator for this workshop, and it's going to be at the Spot. Plumas County's received $409,462 for coronavirus economic recovery funding. And they're offering businesses loans of up to $50,000 each. The way that I understand it is you apply for a loan, and if you spend money according to the way you say you're going to spend the money on your application, the money's yours. If you don't spend the money according to what you say you're going to do with it, then you have to pay it back. So business owners that were impacted by coronavirus, this is a great resource for you. And if you can't come to this workshop, we're going to be doing workshops in Portola, Quincy, and Chester, and we're going to have a Zoom link for these workshops. So you can go to, I have applications on me right now. If you want, or not applications, but flyers, and there's a QR code. It'll tell you all about the guidelines. Next slide, please. So if there's anything that I talked about today that you have more questions about, if you need some of those flyers from me, just see me after the DFC meeting today, or you can go to our new website, or you can give me a call or email me. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. That's great. So exciting to hear all about the opportunities for the business community. I want to make one note on the CARES Act funding. It is first come, first serve. So do not hesitate to get those applications in. The money won't be awarded till the end, but they're going to be taking the first ones in. If they qualify, they're getting it. So you want to be ready to go when the application period opens at the end of the month. All right, do we have any community share outs? Kes Porter, then Nancy Presser.
Thank you. So as you may know, Bill Roderick, the superintendent of Plumas Unified, was here in late March to tell us what was going to happen with the Greenville High School next year. People had some strong reactions to what he was telling us would happen, and he's coming back this coming Monday, the 26th, from 5:30 to 6:30. They've made some changes in those plans, trying to respond to what the community told him. And so we'll hear that. We've also reserved the cafeteria from 6:30 to 8 so that after he finishes, the community can stay here and talk about what our options are with having the charter school and having the traditional school and how we can put that together. What's the best thing we can do for the kids? So if you're available, make sure you're here 5:30 to 6:30, 5:30 to 8 on Monday. Taylor? You said 26th, 21st, right? 22nd. Did I say the 26th instead of the 22nd? 22nd. Sorry, 22nd, this Monday. Thank you for pointing that out. So please be here. Please help us act as an entire community to support these kids and make sure that they have a comprehensive education that can get them anywhere they want to go after they graduate from Greenville.
Thank you, Maria. Okay, I'm back with some really exciting news. On the back table with the DCMs, our Emotional and Spiritual Wellness Committee's coloring book has been published. It's ready to take home with you. And also, if you have children in your life, please grab a couple copies for children, because that was the Emotional and Spiritual Wellness Committee's intention, is to give something to the children that they could help in their recovery, because it feels like we adults get to come to these meetings and we get to process our emotions, but a lot of our children are suffering right now, and there's not a lot of help for them. So this was one way our Emotional Spiritual Wellness Committee thought, well, let's publish something, let's do something, let's write a story. So I want to make sure, I would look at my notes, I'm going to have Maria hold this. And really make sure that I am thanking everybody who made this a possibility. This was a group effort. Ken Donnell came up with the idea. He brought it to the Emotional Spiritual Wellness Committee, and we all worked on it as a team. People from the whole community helped with create this. I want to make sure that everybody knows that this is based on a true story, a true firefighting story that Mr. Russ Peters, that's here with us, lent his bulldozer out for people in the North Arm, North Valley area to create lines to help save homes. So this is based on a true story that actually happened from the Dixie Fire. And then this again is for inspiration for the children. We've already given some coloring books to a first grade class in Portola. The kids loved it. We have video of their uncensored response to it. So we're hoping to, share that with people. But what was told from this kind of test run with children, that there was no trauma triggered from the story, that they really loved it, and that it was easy for them to read. It's a second grade reading level. So we'll be distributing these coloring books throughout the county to the children. Obviously, it's available to everybody here, and take extras if you have children in your life. And we'll have copies available at the Resource Center. And I just want to give some special thank yous out for Ken Donnell, who started the project, the Emotional Spiritual Wellness Committee members who took on the project and kept it going. And then the Rotary Club number 5190, they actually donated all the money to have us print this out. So it was definitely a group effort. And just to make that noticeable, if everybody would stand up for just a second and just humor me and clap for yourselves and pat yourselves on the back, because everybody in this community makes everything happen. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Nancy. That looks terrific. I think I might need one. On that note, I just want to say that I took advantage of the trauma counseling session offered by PRS. I'm being vulnerable. I'm admitting that in public and online, and I want to encourage all of you to do the same. Even if you don't think you need it, trust me, it was profoundly helpful in processing this experience. And even if you didn't lose your home, even if you feel that you don't really need it, I encourage you to try. You might be surprised. It's incredibly powerful information that will help you not only with this trauma, but with balancing your resilience, your physical and mental health going forward in the future. So I really want to encourage you to take advantage of the trauma counseling available at PRS. And it looks like Nancy's got one more announcement for us.
Sorry. I have been asked to come up here because I'm so good at this. Just kidding. Indian Valley Thrift Shop Association. Our grand opening will be June 10th. It's in about 3 weeks. We're always looking for volunteers. The next 3 weeks on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. You're welcome to come to the thrift shop building and help us get it going, stock shelves, look at donations. If you show up to these work parties, then you can bring your items that need to be donated. However, we're trying to keep this low key, so you have to show up to the work party to get your donations accepted. That's what we're doing right now. But we'd love to have you. We'd love to have anybody in the community join us. And the other announcement is that we have the Sunday picnics starting tomorrow from 4 p.m. to sundown. We've got music, we have food from Crushable. We'd love to see everybody come out, bring your chair, bring sunscreen, and just chill and listen to music, have some good food from Sammy.
Thank you. Do we have any other shout outs from the community? It looks like we've got 2 more. And then we'll take questions.
Hi, Joan Carter here from North Valley Catholic Social Services. I just wanted to let everybody know that I talked to Susie and we'll be working on getting the tool trailer open and operating as soon as we can. I also wanted to let everybody know that I was able to talk to Habitat for Humanity, and they're going to be sending up tubs full of small supplies, screws, nails, electric boxes, pieces of wire, whatever. I told them just send me whatever you can. They're going to be sending me, I think, at least 2 loads. And also they've offered me some used equipment. The tool trailer is going to require that people make deposits because we have to return those items in 2 years. So it's the same as if you went to Home Depot or whatever, you're going to have to give them a credit card or something like that. Well, the used tools that I get and whatever they are, I don't know what they're going to be, will basically be you just sign up for them and please bring them back working. And all of these items will just be outside this tool trailer. And if you need something to complete a project, you're more than welcome to go through the tubs, find out if there's something in there that's going to make your project work instead of having to drive to to Chester or to Quincy for 3 screws and a couple of nails. All of this stuff will be, it's not going to be anything that's rusty or anything like that. It'll all be usable materials. And you can just take what you want. It's just going to be outside of the tool trailer and it'll be there all the time. So anything that you need, that if there's something there that you can use, thank you to Habitat for Humanity for their generosity. And I told them, I said, everything that you send will be gratefully accepted because people are trying to build sheds and outbuildings and things like that. And you know, these kinds of things are so helpful to us. So I really appreciate what they're going to do for us because they've been concentrating on Paradise. That was their big project to begin with, and they're still stuck there. So anyway, we're hoping that we'll have that. I should be getting our first load of that stuff this week coming up. So I'm really excited about that. We also received donations. MBCSS got donations in Oroville, and we were able to distribute 600 pounds of dog food to the food bank and also to the resource center in Crescent Mills. So if you need dog food or pet food, that's available now. So that was a great donation too that we were able to get. And we also got books delivered for rebuilding the charter school library. So we've been getting a few things set for us. So we're real excited about that. So thank you.
Thank you.
I forgot a huge piece of information that is really, really good news. One of the things that North Valley Community Foundation has done for us is invest our money in a treasury bill. And since May the 12th, they have posted $6,961.03 in interest to our account.
Thank you. Thank you. That is good news. Okay, if we have no more shout-outs, I'll invite the speakers to come up front so that we can be efficient in answering the community's questions. Let's start. Are there any questions from Zoom?
There's a Zoom question for Joe Hoffman with the Forest Service. How could the community help? This has to do with it's me here.
Thanks, Jay.
Zoom. How can the community help facilitate getting materials to the Crescent Mills mill, either log decks or actual small SSTS sales or whatever?
To facilitate, there's going to be a lot of material available. So I've been in touch with, gosh, why can I forget Randy's outfit? Right now, JNC Enterprises, thank you. So talk frequently with Randy, and we're just trying to keep him apprised of the material that comes off the forest and is decked and ready to go. And then when we get through our planning process here to have a lot of land available, you know, for material too, that needs to be disposed of.
Any questions from the audience?
Two things. On you're the license plate of the year. It's an RV, right?
No license plates required.
Okay. Well, and the other thing is, and maybe this was a share out, sorry, but I have solar electric panels still. I'm working on retirement still, and I have solar electric panels and charge controllers. People, my intention is to provide them to people free of charge for people that are still kind of temporary housing, whether it's an RV or a tent or a trailer or a camper or something. But for folks that were directly impacted by the fire and are still sort of in a temporary situation, this is a free offering up to, and it could be 1, 2, 3 panels, maybe up to about 500 watts that could run your temporary setup. And I'll leave some cards on the table.
That's terrific. Thank you. Any more questions? All right, looks like we are wrapping up. I want to thank all of our speakers for coming. I want to thank everybody on Zoom for attending, all of you in this room for cutting short your deal searches at the yard sale and participating in this important community event. On behalf of the entire Dixie Fire Collaborative Steering Committee, we're happy you came, and we remain committed to the revival of this community. Thank you.
We had to switch them out.
Yeah.